Good evening, participants. Good evening. Can you all hear me? Just wait quickly for a few minutes for all the participants to join. Meanwhile, please let us know in the comments where you are joining us from. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm getting a lot of yes in the comments. Right. Just wait for another second and then we'll quickly join. Kindly put in where you're joining us today from on in the comment section. I see Meghalaya, Jaipur. Wonderful, wonderful. So I'll quickly dive into this session. First of all, welcome everyone. A good evening to all the participants for joining us today. Uh, Welcome everyone. So on behalf of Center, we are delighted to have you on board with us yet for another insightful session on our ongoing Center webinar series for teachers, a professional space where passionate educators come together to learn, reflect, and grow professionally. We're very proud to share that we recently celebrated our 300th Cent Talk, and today we welcome you to our next milestone, that is our 318th Cent Talk. Your presence and participation continues to inspire us and build a stronger community, a stronger teacher community. This evening's session addresses a deeply important topic and a very timely topic that affects every educator, regardless of their experience or their role. The title is Integrating Storytelling for Conceptual Understanding. Now it's our pleasure to introduce our facilitator for this transformative session, Mr. Raghvendra Dwivedi. Just, Hi, Raghavendran, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
So Raghavendran sir is an educator, a mentor, and is passionate about innovative teaching practices. He has trained teachers on classroom management, NEP 2020, and digital tools like ChatGPT, Canva, and Google Apps. He's associated with CENTA, AIEF, and SNTTC. He's known for being he is known for blending theory with engaging activities to make sure learning is student centric and future ready. Also, participants, a quick note: please drop your queries and insights throughout the session in the comments below. We will address them, and the polls are open for 30 seconds. We will have polls during the session, and which will be open for 30 seconds. Please do engage in them. Now, coming back to this session, I welcome Mr. Raghavendra Dwivedi again, and handing over the stage to you, sir.
So, very good evening, everyone. So, today we know that we are going to learn as well as integrate storytelling for conceptual understanding. Storytelling is not only that, by the way, thank you very much, ma'am. You know, Today we are not just going to listen, we are going to just travel through stories. Each story we hear or tell us has the power to touch our hearts, right? Spark imagination and teach valuable lessons. Because see, what I want to say and to convey, I want to say only one thing is that the story is not that to there was a one word and a teacher and all and a student and not. No, it's not like that. A successful story is that whatever we used to learn, we used to what we are going to, which kind of skill we are going to gain from that. So dear all, just start the session and let's start that. So see, as you all can see this quote, I think it's very important quote. So let's begin with a simple thought. We all grew up listening to stories, right? Students have been our first teachers, right? How students, why am I saying that how students are our first teacher? Why am I saying? Maybe there's one question is going on in your mind, right? Students, see, they used to discuss so many things, right? What yesterday they did and what they are going to do and what's going on in their life in the present also, while they are applying the process of talking with each and then one, right? Which is also numbers peer learning, right? So I think, when the teacher used to listen, definitely they used to also get freshen up their mind, right? You also, even I also used to do during my classroom teaching, right? Not only in classroom teaching, even at home we used to do, we used to apply, because the storytelling is not a concept like that whatever we used to apply in only in classroom. Every time we used to apply this concept, right? So those who tell their stories rule the world. This sentence is thought quotation has been told by the and given by the Plato. Okay, stories have the power to inspire, educate, and to transform the way we understand concepts, right? Before we could even read or write, stories helped us to make a sense of the world. In education, storytelling is not just an entertainment. Yeah, sometimes we used to think that entertainment. Let's begin with anything with the story to not only for the entertainment. Yeah, I can understand that, because entertainment in the teaching is also important, right? To get freshen up our mind, but it's not only like that for the freshen up, to learn something, right? So now go on the next slide. I would like to go with, okay, why storytelling? Conceptual understanding means the student don't just remember, right? They don't just remember information. They understand how and why it works. It is about building connections between ideas. Okay, for example, a student who knows the formula for area might solve a problem, but one who understands why the formula works can apply in it new situations, right? मीन्स जो एक बच्चा है उसे पता है फॉर्मूला क्या है किस लिए, बट जिसे पता है हाउ इज इट प्रिपेयर्ड, फॉर्मूला की प्रिपरेशन कैसे हुई, लाइक अगर हम बात करते हैं ब्लूम्स की थ्योरी क्यों आई थी, सब कुछ क्यों आया, तो ये सारी चीजें आई थिंक इजी हो जाएंगी, राइट? अगर हमें उस चीज का रीजन ऑलरेडी पता है, वी ऑलरेडी नो अबाउट दैट, तो आई थिंक दैट विल बी इजी फॉर अस, इट विल बी टू मच इजी फॉर अस, राइट? एज इट इज ऑल्सो रिटन दैट goes beyond the rote learning. Okay, what do you think that it's going beyond the rote learning? Because rote learning, we already aware that in general language we used to say that ratna, like this one is written and I am speaking in front of you, somewhere we can consider it, right? But जब हम रटते हैं तो वो हम concept की clarity नहीं कर सकते. I can understand that we can achieve marks, we can speak in front of anyone, like right now I am speaking, but when we want the learning should take place by our mind, by our heart, so it's not possible in terms of rote learning. Conceptual understanding, as I earlier told you all, that knowing the why, it's, yeah, do you, what do you think that about the question of why? It's not only that the question wh and why, no, it's not only the phonics like that. Why is a very, it's my somewhere, what do we say, very familiar word with me. Okay, I always want to convey any topic with the question of why, with the answer of why behind the what, right? Example, instead of just 1 by 2 equals to 0.5, student understand fractions, so sharing a pizza equally. Suppose that I want to eat pizza, and we are the two friends, and I want to divide that. So how we will divide? We can divide very easily with the cutting out of the paper in the two parts. And how many paper was in my hand? There was one piece of paper, so we can represent it very easily. I think maths teacher can understand very easily this kind of example, right? So storytelling is not only that, what am I going to say, that it's always a convey learning beyond rote learning. Not only on that, focuses on application and connections. Application such a way, आपने देखा होगा most of the times in your class, that whenever we want to relate any kind of concept, any technical concept, like in the field of engineering, we used to do, right? Suppose that turbine and other examples are there, so we used to relate them. How we used to relate? We used to relate them as a concept in your general life, that how we are applying. Suppose that we want to know the process of motor in terms of mechanical engineering, how we will relate? We will first, we go to in a visualize, first we used to visualize. And can you tell me about the visualization? What is the level of blooms in terms of visualization? It's, is it lying in remembering, understanding, in what level? Can anyone can tell? Because I used to think that visualization always lies in the level of remembering. First we used to remember. What we used to remember while we are going to understand the topic of motor, as well as teaching of the topic of the motor, what we used to visualize? We used to visualize the motor which is fitted at our home, right? Rather than to read just the theory and all. No, first there's a one idea and picture clicks our mind about the motor. Yeah, there is a motor at my home also, like this we used to visualize, right? Connections. connections in the sense we used to learn whatever we are learning, right? Suppose that I have today, even today, I've also read the story of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, so we used to integrate some of the things in our general lessons. We used to connect each and everything in our general lessons, not in the general lessons of our chapters and books. We used to integrate in our life also. Okay, it's learnings and connection and application and dividing of anything. And what is the most favorite and important is that we used to implement why. We used to implement the question of why, right? So I think it's really essential and very most important part. Okay, now move on the next one. Okay, because I was saying that abstract concept, because I didn't cover this slide first because there was a reason. Okay, because I want to connect with you all from the standard. Okay, I believe that if we have already maintained standard, then definitely we can cover basic things very easily. Okay, so makes abstract concepts relatable. Okay, most of the times we have read so many things. Okay, so we are unable to connect with our general life also. Like, we don't suppose that I was discussing the topic of what I was discussing, the topic of motor. I know that everyone know about the motor, right? We also know about the motor, internal working of motor also, but not in a deep manner. So how we will realize and relate? So it's that time storytelling helps. We can relate very easily. We can take the example, we can take the visual ads and all. Okay, enhances memory and retention. How is it enhances memory and retention? See, whenever we are going to talk about memory is not only that, uh, what I was talking about, the rote learning, right? So we have written everything. Okay, we have mug up everything and we can memorize. No, it's not all about that. We used to memorize. How? By dint of a story. And how by dint of a story is it possible? Suppose that I am going to teach a topic of Swadeshi movement. I think history teacher can relate everything very easily. History teacher, right? History teacher, or what do we say, SST, one of the teachers who used to teach social science subject, Swadeshi movement in class 10th, right? So Swadeshi movement, it was led by the Gandhiji, our respected Gandhiji. So he said that he is not going to use the goods and all the materials which is boycotted from the foreign. Okay, those who are belonging from the foreign. Okay, he said that we will use those goods and materials whichever are extracted from our India, right? जो हमारे भारत से चीजें हुई हैं वो यूज करेंगे, ना कि फॉरेन गुड्स को. सो क्या था, हमने उसी चीज को बड़ा सिंपल वे में समझा. हम इस चीज को कैसे समझते हैं? हम लोग बहुत सारे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स का एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. हम लोग कहते हैं कि नो, आई विल नॉट यूज योर थिंग. Why? Because there was a conflict held. This kind of conflict held between us. That's why I'm not going to use this thing. So I think somewhere we have a very interesting idea of storytelling, right? We can relate any concept. We can make any concept very easy by dint of storytelling. At that time, most of the times in history subject, students used to feel bored. So I think for those students, for those that kind of subject, storytelling plays a very vital role to educate to someone, to make learning impactful, to make learning easier for the students. Because most of the time we have also seen that in the history subject, as a civics and geography, students used to feel sleepy and all. Why? Because if we are not going to integrate storytelling, somewhere they can feel sleepy. Because no one want to, our child, we know that according to the approach of NEP and NCF also, our child are very tech savvy. And if I am going to integrate this term in my language as a my presentation today, the tech savvy, so you can got it that if we will relate our concept of history, maths and Hindi and all these subjects from the tech savvy, I think that will definitely affect on our learning, and in a positive manner. Because there are two kinds of effect, we know that, for positive and negative. So I think that will be easy for us, right? Imagination and creativity. Yes, exactly. We used to imagine then memorize, right? And in which level it does it falls and lie in the theory of Bloom's, in the remembering level, right? Creates cultural and emotion connections. right? Emotional connections are very important while learning anything, while teaching anything, because suppose that we can take the example of any scenario, like students always wants the recognition in their class, right? Every student want the recognition, like suppose that I am entering in the class and I am going to ask that which topic had I discussed in my previous class. So everyone used to try to provide first, and every student, why they want the recognition, they want the recognition that कि सर पहले मैं बताऊंगा, क्यों बताएंगे? ताकि हो सकता है मैं उनकी प्रेस करूं, मैं उनकी तारीफ करूं और वो मुझसे कनेक्ट हो पाए. Why every student want to score high in the class? Why? Because there is a one reason is that to for the recognition by the teacher. Every student want to get recognized by the teacher, right? So it's the exactly reason. So this reason is, I think, falling as a line in the category of emotional connection. So I think when we are emotionally connected with our students, with our public, with our audience, okay, so I think definitely they will also support, because it's, why is it important? Yeah, I think it's also important to know. Most of the times we have seen that whatever we are demonstrating any topic in our class, so what happens? Students don't take interest. Why? Because we are not integrating storytelling, we are not emotionally connected with our students. I think it's a general reason, because when we are not connected and we are teaching only to ourselves, so somewhere there is a issue, okay? So dear teachers, it's very important to integrate storytelling. I think very important idea, okay, very important and interesting idea, okay. So now move on the next one. Storytelling as a bridge. It's storytelling is not only that to bridge like that only. It's exactly the bridge. It's no, I know that it's not a physical bridge, but exactly. Stories connect prior knowledge with new learning. Suppose that I'm going to teach the topic of Hindi, and we can still take the example of English subject. So what do we do? Suppose that you are going to teach in English the formation of words. Take the scenario in your mind, visualize that you are teaching in your classroom and you are going to teach what topic? Formation of words. Then do you don't think that you will ask from the students that what they have learned regarding this topic in their previous session, previous class, and previous grade and standard, right? Suppose that we are going to teach words, so definitely we can ask very easily how many vowels are there in the English alphabet, right? We can ask one question like this, right? We can still ask, there is a one icebreaker activity we can conduct, right? Provide context for abstract ideas. Stories always provide the context. Suppose that we are going to teach history of income tax. When was it introduced? Suppose that I'm going to teach a topic of income tax, that when the how was it introduced and when was it introduced. So definitely we used to discuss some of the terms of income tax. Like recently there was a rule which has passed regarding the income tax, right, by the income tax department also. Like this we can say, not only to say, we can relate, we can memorize, we can realize everything, right? So it's about that to get the ideas about abstract for the context, right? We can relate our context very easily about the prior topic, whatever we are going to discuss on any topic, right? Okay. Help learners relate lessons to their own life experiences. Most of the times we used to integrate our storytelling, our life of our story of our life, right? We used to provide the summary of yesterday night, yesterday day, that how was my yesterday, right? So something like that we used to relate. We used to ask some of the questions from our children that, while scolding we used to ask, right? What do we ask? We used to ask that, what were you doing yesterday? Why could you not finish your homework? Like this we used to ask, right? So we used to connect with our own life experiences. Example, explaining electricity through the water flow is storytelling. It's really important and it's very interesting term. We can still explain the water cycle process, okay. So but when these concepts are embedded in a story, though the journey of a water droplet or a village panchayat conflict, like this we can take the example, students see ideas come alive. Stories simplify complexity. They connect prior knowledge with new learning. This bridge helps children cross from memorization to real comprehension. In short, we can say that stories make invisible ideas visible. Right? What are the invisible ideas? The concept which we are unable to gain or grasp in our mind. So I think when we are going to integrate our storytelling, it will be easy to grasp anything come in our mind very easily, to grasp anything in our mind very easily, right? So I think it's really important. Okay. And now moving on the next one, elements of a good story. Okay, so every effective classroom story has some key elements: character, setting, conflict to challenge, resolution, like this, right? Relatable figures students can identify. Okay, with a curious child, a wise animal, a historical hero, right? Like, as I discussed for the Gandhiji, I had discussed, in the previous slides, I had discussed. And can you see that in this webinar, I am also implementing the same. What I am implementing the same, I am integrating this storytelling right now. I am also integrating while I am teaching to you. I am providing the webinar of mine. I am also integrating what is storytelling. Why? Because I am comfortable with this concept. I can't teach any concept without any story. No, I can't. I am unable. I will be unable to teach if I don't have any story about any kind of topic, because I feel comfortable in that. I don't know about your personal choices. Okay. So in Gandhiji Swadeshi movement, we have observed what? To use Indian goods rather than foreign goods, right? We had observed that. So what we do in this, in from this line, we can gain the concept that what Gandhiji did previously. We can connect very easily rather than to learn the definition only what was the Swadeshi movement. So I think if we will integrate, that will be easy. Okay. Now, setting the environment or context where learning happens, where learning is happening, where the any of the incident is going to take place, as well as was taking place, like this we can say now, that suppose that there was a lion in the jungle. So in this sentence we can recognize very easily what we can recognize that jungle is the setting. In that, how we recognize it was a place that where was the incident is happening. Right? Like this we can say that conflict or challenge, I think it's a very major part of the story. Most of the ladies, the female teachers, we can relate that. So while providing any kind of um, while peeling the vegetables, while doing any household work, they used to watch serials, TV serials and movies, something like that. So what is this, why that serial as a movie is getting successful? Why? I have a question of why. Even in my introduction part, I said that there must be the question of why in your mind. If you know about the question of why, it will be very easy for you to learn, to grasp, to educate, to teach, to be a facilitator, to anything, to get to do anything. Okay. So why a movie can get successful very easily and how? Cause of its conflict ideas as well as resolution ideas, right? So it plays very vital role. Okay, because the learning or realization that comes at the end, right? So it's known as what? Resolution. आपका next step क्या आता है? Resolution. कि आपने learning क्या ली? Learning आपकी बहुत type की होती है movies and serials में, even in stories also. किस type की हो जाती है? कभी कभी emotionally connected होती है, जैसे मैंने पहले बोला था, जिसको आप long time of span के लिए आप याद रखते हो, used to remember, right? uh, so all above all, paying as is even playing the role on the basis of what? Voice modulation and expressions make the story come alive. So what is about the voice modulation? Changing of the voice of the pitch, tone and pace to make your voice more expressive and engaging. In storytelling, voice modulation is what brings a story to life. For instance, when narrating a suspenseful moment, you can lower your pitch and slow your speech also. When describing excitement or joy, seriously, you can increase very easily. Okay, you can raise your tone and speed up slightly. This variation helps in capturing and maintaining students' attention. Not only students' attention, your audience attention also, to grasp the attention from your audience. So remember, storytelling is not just about the words you say, but how you say them. Okay, how you say them, it matters. Okay, not only to saying of the words, it's not all about that, dear all. It's about that how you are saying to them, it's important. And in this sentence, what had done, what I applied, I raised my pitch, tone, and volume of my voice. It's known as voice modulation. It's exactly the voice modulation. Suppose that I am going to speak any kind of quotation, we can increase the rise and fall of the voice and the intonation, pitch, tone, everything we can increase, right? It's all about that. So now move on the next, slide. Okay. Pedagogical benefits. What are the pedagogical benefits? Storytelling is not just a soft skill, it's a strong pedagogy. Okay. Here is the how it supports learning. It stimulates imagination and creativity. Okay. It improves listening and comprehension skills. It encourages empathy by allowing a student to see through others' perspectives. It helps in cross circular as a curriculum learning strategies where concepts overlap naturally. Research shows that when teachers are are applying the narrative techniques, students show better conceptual retention and application. So in short, we can say that storytelling promotes holistic learning by head, heart, and our hands. It always follow the rule of what? Triple H. Triple H. Okay. H, H, and H. What triple H convey? It's abbreviated by head, heart, and our hands. And when these triple H integrates, it always comes to the approach of holistic approach, which is always you can read as I think you have also read in the context of NEP 2020, right? So it always helps us to grab the attention span. Okay, critical thinking. Okay, empathy, vocabulary. These are the benefits. How the benefits provide us the benefit, we can say that. Okay, vocabulary. Suppose that I am speaking right now in English, and we all are the humans, we also know that, right? We know that we all are the humans, we know that, we are already aware from it. But we have also tendency to do mistakes. So I think, and why used to fill the feedback form? To learn from our mistakes also. Whatever you will fill, I will also get the feedback, then I will mend it, I will improve it. And suppose that I am going to do the mistake of vocabulary, definitely I will mend it. So I think storytelling benefits to extend our vocabulary. Empathy, critical thinking, it really main benefit of storytelling is only there are only two benefits of storytelling, like critical thinking and attention span. While our audience is not engaged in our teaching, and also I think that time attention span is very, we can say that help plays a very vital role. Okay, and I hope that you all have already filled the poll. Okay, you all have filled. Okay, 95% as I can see, 3% to B option, C option to sleep in class, 2%, and to copy from books, it's the 0%, and that's really a very good score. And those who have filled the option number A, congratulations from my side, you all are the winner. Okay, you have scored 95%, those who have filled the option number A, to make learning fun. That's why we use stories in our classroom. Okay, so attention span, like this, you are getting polls. Why? Because of gaining the attention span I am giving to you. Critical thinking, we are using polls. Why? To enhance your critical thinking skills. That you, when you will think, definitely it will enhance your critical thinking and creative thinking skills, right? So I think it's very relatable and understandable. Storytelling across subjects, very interesting. Very interesting parts about for the subject like mathematics, science, history, freedom struggle, character narrative, languages also, right? In mathematics, we all know about the we in daily life we used to go on any kind of shop, grocery store, malls, and all the whatever wherever we used to go, right? So in mathematics, I've written the example of fraction also. Suppose that there is a conflict is going on between two friends, okay, and they want cake. Cake is one, and they want individually, they want, like, first one is also want the cake, whole cake, and second one is also expecting the eating of the whole cake. So how, that time, the rule of fraction, the story of the fraction helps. When you will integrate it, I think it will be easier to integrate it also. Okay, so you can apply the concept of fraction. How will you make it understand in front of your students? How? So you can understand very easily. You can break that cake into two parts. And how many parts was a cake? In previously there was only one part, and after dividing, how many parts do the students have and the friends have? Two parts. How can we present it? 1/2, very easily. 1/2 we can represent it. So what is, but at the end you can integrate it like this, like, this concept is known as fraction. Means dividing, we are dividing anything. मैं बोल सकता हूँ जनरल भाषा में कि हम लोग कुछ भी बंटवारा करते हैं तो हम लोग इंटीग्रेट करते हैं स्टोरी टेलिंग को. So I think it's very important. Okay, science, life cycle, we are already aware from it. Okay, the water life cycle, we can still provide the story on it like this. Once there was a tiny water droplet named Aqua. Okay, one sunny morning she rose up into the sky as vapor, joined her cloud friends, and after some time returned to earth as raindrops. Though this story, children not only enjoy the process but also remember each stage clearly of water cycle, right? Storytelling helps transform specific facts into visual, relatable experiences that last longer in student minds. Okay, history, yeah, very important subject. We have history. Okay, freedom struggle. How was the income tax was introduced? What was the Rowlatt Act? Okay, it was also known as the Black Act and whatever. Gandhiji non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movements. We used to. We don't have, even I want to only say that we don't have need to provide any concept only theoretically and all. We must visualize it, make them visualize. First we need to visualize, and then to make your student visualize, and then to deliver. Okay, at the end you need to deliver the exact theory of that concept, but firstly we need to integrate it. Okay, and I think that time if you will apply, then definitely you can grasp the attention of your children very easily. Okay, languages, moral stories and all, we can very, we all are aware, in daily routine we used to do that. Okay. Storytelling in STEM. The CBSE has taken the initiative this year about the STEM. Okay, STEM paper presentation. There is also a word like this. There is a process like this also. Okay, storytelling in STEM: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Somewhere, sometimes it's difficult to understand the um, uh, tough concepts, because STEM always relates and gives a solution of tough concepts. Those concepts which are belonging from the stream of STEM. Okay, so experiments explained with curious characters, analogies, and metaphors, problem solving through story-based inquiry, engaging what-if scenarios. Okay, STEM, we know that. Okay, in STEM, how we used to relate it in this story, because I think its session is for it's the main theme of the session, to understand how can we integrate our the technique of storytelling, how can we integrate in the STEM education. Okay, because it's the theme of CBSE also this year, that about STEM. Okay, previously the theme of the CBSE was art integrated learning, and this year is STEM. Okay, STEM subjects are often seen as technical and rigid, but storytelling adds the missing human touch. For instance, while teaching Newton's laws, imagine telling a story of a boy named Arjun trying to push a heavy cart and realizing how force, mass, and motion are connected. We can realize them very easily. I think science teachers can understand and grasp this very easily. Okay. In coding or robotics, stories can describe a problem scenario that students solve using design thinking. Suppose that we are having the webinar this time, and what are the visuals I added already here? There is a logo of center. There is, my PPT is showing on my screen. Even I am also showing on this screen. Okay. Even each and every graphics is visible clearly by how this platform is built, from which manner is it built, why and how. Cause of coding, and AI also, because right now we are also integrating the AI. Okay. So storytelling builds context, motivation, and problem solving, which are the backbone of the STEM learning. Because STEM learning is concept based learning. It's not only that to learn as a route to road the theories. because देखिए हम लोग रट सकते हैं. चलिए मान लिया कि मैं इंटीग्रेट ना करूँ स्टोरी, और मैंने रट लिया, मैं एग्जाम में मार्क्स बच्चे ला रहे हैं, इवन मैं ला रहा हूँ, आप ला रहे हैं मार्क्स, आप क्लास में आ रहे हैं, बैठ रहे हैं और आप मार्क्स ला रहे हैं, सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, मैं कर रहा हूँ, बच्चे कर रहे हैं, एवरीथिंग इज फाइन. बट जब हम लोग एक कंसेप्ट के ऊपर आते हैं, तो आपको क्या लगता है कि इज इट विल बी पॉसिबल? क्या वो पॉसिबल होगा कि हम उसको कर पाएँ वेरी ईज़िली, मतलब हम लोग उस चीज़ों को हैंडल कर पाएँ? तो दैट विल नॉट बी ईज़ी टू अंडरस्टैंड क्लियरली. वेरी So for that we need to understand first of the foundational and preparatory and middle and then secondary stage. We used to jump according to the rule of NEP, right? So I think it's very mandatory and also necessary. Storytelling in social science. Okay, right now I'm also integrating storytelling in the subject wise. Okay, narratives of people, cultures, and societies. Okay, case studies told us stories of change, right? Helps students understand values and identity. Example, Gandhi's salt march explained as a simple story, right? um, in social science we can say that storytelling is the heartbeat of understanding society. When we narrate the Swadeshi movement, we are not just teaching a historical event, that this was that and this was the date and this was the incident or event had happened. No, it's not all about that. We are teaching values of self-reliance and unity in that moment, right? So it's all about that. Stories can show students what it felt like to live during those times, the fear, the courage, and the hope. A teacher who narrates social issues through stories helps students build critical thinking, empathy, and moral reasoning. So that's how storytelling humanizes social studies. And there's a term, humanizes. I think it's very important term. Okay, when we used to humanize, in AI, we can take the example of AI. We used to humanize our text, which is also belong from the same language in English. Okay, why we used to humanize? To get familiar from that particular text or message, or the sentences or word, we can say that. Okay, हम लोग एक चीज जनरल भाषा में ये भी बोलते हैं कि अ, इसको अपनी भाषा में बताओ, इसमें मत बताओ. Try to provide all the context and abstract and all the concept in your own language, not in another language. So why? It's the major reason. Okay, we can integrate very easily, not only to storytelling, we can get to relate for anything with anything. So I think it's very important. Emotional engagement. Though stories, students connect emotionally with characters. Emotions make learning memorable. Stories create a safe and inclusive environment. Emotional bonds is equals to the long term retention. Why we are going to say that it's always a relation with a long term retention? Because there is a reason, where there is a very specific reason. Long term retention, in the sense we can memorize a concept for a long time of span, for over a long time. Even suppose that we can take the example of teaching and learning process also. Suppose that you are teaching any concept with the integration of the story, and there is a one student who was busy in the family matter of his or her, we can say that. Okay, so and tomorrow there is an exam of social science or Hindi or English and mathematics and whatever. So suppose that if you integrated this idea of storytelling in that particular concept or chapter and that subject, so I think that time you will not get the result in terms of failure of that particular students. How and why? Because that time, if a student know how to write exactly the art of answer, how to integrate, so I think that will be easy. He or she can write very easily with a very in a very familiar manner. And your school definitely requires a result, positive result from your side. Okay, that your school management always expect from you that every student should get passed. So how will it done? how this goal you can do, how this task you can achieve very easily by dint of storytelling. आपके इससे क्या होंगे, आपके इससे इवन स्टूडेंट फेल तो नहीं होंगे, जो हैं ऑलरेडी क्यूरियस फॉर द स्टडी, दे कैन स्कोर वेरी वेल वेरी इजीली. But those are not curious, I think still they have ability to write any answer and they can get passing marks very easily. So how they is it possible? By dint of storytelling. Inclusive environment, we know already know about the inclusive environment, inclusive classroom. There was a webinar also which was very interesting webinar. Okay, inclusive environment is that in which students feel respectful, safe and happy also. It always integrate the phenomenon of happy classroom. When the teacher is happy, her class, his class will always happy, and if the class is happy, students are the happy. Because students, we know that students are the parts of the class, elements of the class. If there is no student in the class, I think we can't define the phenomenon of classroom. Classroom is not only that to building a room like that and to put up the duster and board and the table and chair. It's all about the filling of the elements in that also. It's also important, right? Move on the next. Cognitive engagement through storage. Storage embed problem solving tasks. Encourage students to ask what if questions. Like this kind of questions we can gather from by integrating the idea of storytelling. Sequential storytelling builds logical reasoning, helps develop cause effect understanding. Okay, so it's not a story. Stories also trigger the brain's cognitive process. We can say that analysis, prediction, and reasoning. When children listen to a story, they try to guess what happens next, make mental images and relate it to their own lives. Okay, this process strengthens critical thinking and problem solving skills, right? For example, we can say that while hearing a science story about evaporation, they might mentally visualize clouds forming. That's cognitive engagement. That's the cognitive engagement. Okay, these stories become mental exercises that sharpen both understanding and imagination. Okay, so I think it plays definitely a very vital role. Okay, classroom storytelling strategies. Okay, what are the classroom storytelling strategies? Okay, read aloud storytelling by teacher. I think it's also relates with the phenomenon of voice modulation, as I earlier described, rise and fall of your pitch, voice, intonation, and all the things. Okay, rising and falling tone. Somewhere we can refer to the voice modulation. Okay, so when we will read aloud, they will get to know the sound of what, sense of what, our teacher is providing the concept as a context of what, any surprising moment. So I think it's very important while delivering any lecture, while integrating any storytelling, to set our rise and falling of the tone, which is known as the voice modulation, is really plays a very vital role. Okay, puppet shows for young learners, definitely. Right now, according to the NEP 2020 and NCF 2023 approach, most of the schools and then even most of the schools has already done this strategy about to implementation of digital boards. Why they're needed? To get visualization very easily, to apply the process of visualization very easily, digital storytelling with videos and animations. Why is it important? Because we know that right now students are tech savvy, एंड हम ये भी जानते हैं कि स्टूडेंट आज के ऐसे नहीं कि हम बता रहे हो वो सुन ही रहे हो. Because why? There is a one more reason, only and only one reason. Because they are tech savvy, they are more familiar with the screen rather than the mouth and all, rather than the physical presence. Okay, student created stories in the groups. Okay, so I think it's the best strategies which you can integrate in the classroom. I know that most of the teachers, they don't have digital board. Every school are not going to provide a digital board in the classroom. So I think when we will modulate our voice very easily, so I think that will be possible for us to integrate storytelling easily. And when we will integrate it, we know that what is the output, we will get the positive results in terms of reflection of their results of the students. Okay, so it's very important. Okay, come on the next. Digital tools for storytelling. We know that we now in 21st century we have a lot of work. And why we have a lot of work? because 21st century always requires your skills, up to date skills. Every day there is a transformation of skills is going to take place, so we don't have time to prepare their own story and next day we will demonstrate it. No, we don't have time for that. So we can use some of the tools: tune testing, Pixton, Storybird, book reader, audio video apps. We can use podcast style storytelling, story slides. Like I'm also right now using the PowerPoint presentation. So what is this? I know that I could still deliver the lecture of today's session, right, without storytelling also. But what? I know that I can still deliver. I could still deliver. But why? Only to grasp the attention, and everyone is tech savvy, right? So I am integrating, and not only I know that everyone is integrating the phenomenal storytelling and this storytelling and the visualization and all the things. Okay, so you can use these kind of contexts. Okay, integrating storytelling into lesson plans. Okay, very important. It's also the important slide for all of you. Okay, integrating a storytelling doesn't mean adding a story at the end. Okay, it means designing lessons through stories. Okay, as I earlier told you all that when we are entering in the class, and if there's any difficult topic and the complex topic, and not only I'm not going to consider any kind of difficult and complex topic. Okay, I am just wanting to say that whenever we are going to start any topic, we just need to integrate the story, so that our student can get the abstract of that particular topic or lesson. Okay, so start your class with a relatable situation or character, lead to it concept, and end with reflection. Okay, and they're all, I think you all get the one poll. Okay, so kindly do fill it, please, so that I can get the response. Okay, there are 4 polls. Okay, so please, yes, hurry up. Please fill. Yeah, okay, I got the response. Why add a story in lesson plans? A options that helps the student understand. Okay, yeah, 99%. Okay, well done. To waste time? No, 0%. Exactly. To play games? No. To copy notes? No. We are already shifting from the rot culture. Okay, we are shifting to the NEP aligned culture. Okay, so help students understand. Exactly. Our main motto as the objective is only to that, to make learning relatable and impactful. And how is it possible when we are able to help student to get understand any kind of particular topic, whether it's a complex or easy topic. Okay, so, yeah, I start your class according to that to relation. You need to build a relationship, whether it's a cognitive relationship and emotional relationship. Okay. For example, once upon a time, there was a curious water droplet named Near. Okay. One sunny day, Near turned into vapor, floated into the sky, joined her cloud friends, and later returned to Earth as rain. So, though Near's journey, student can learn evaporation, condensation, and precipitation process. The complete water cycle they can learn by dint of these 4 or 3 lines. We can say that. Okay, that's very interesting and engaging. That's how storytelling transform abstract learning into the living living understanding the world. Okay, it's really important. Okay, move on the next one. Maths, we have already discussed the division, so I would like to discuss any other thing. Suppose that you are going on this shop, and suppose that you have given 10 rupee note, and you are buying the product which are having the cost of 5 rupees. So what is this? There you are integrating the technique of subtraction in terms of mathematics, or how you can integrate it. You can integrate in terms of profit and loss in terms of general language. You can discuss with your student and children that suppose that I have give you 12 apples. She wanted to share them equally with her 3 friends. Each friend got 4 apples. Like this, we can integrate very easily, because it's really important storytelling. Okay, a story helps students visualize abstract math operations also. Division equals sharing, so that's why I think it's very important. Okay, we also know that in a general life, students they used to even brother and sister also right now in 21st century, they have a conflict very easily they used to get something like that. So I think when we will integrate storytelling, as well as integrate these kind of concept in terms of storytelling, I think it can reduce it very easily. Okay, so very easily, I think the teachers, please do integrate it. Okay, moving on the next one. Example story of social science. and science, sorry. Okay. Drop of water begin a journey, rising a vapor floating in the sky. As I earlier told you, it was a water cycle, but now I'm going to discuss about the process of what. I'm going to discuss about the process of a butterfly. How is it transformed from the caterpillar? Okay, I'm going to discuss. Students remember better with journey narrative. Exactly, when we will provide the whole abstract of that particular cycle, that how is it, how the formation of butterfly is taking place and all the things. So I think that will be easy. And those who want the certificate, they can fill the feedback form and they can still get the code to fill that to grab your certificate. Okay, so I think we can because right now it's too difficult to understand any kind of topic with the question of theoretical concepts. If we are adopting the theoretical approach, then definitely we can integrate storytelling very easily, because it's not possible to integrate a holistic approach in our teaching without any method of storytelling. It's the only one method how we can integrate the holistic approach. It's very important. Okay, come on, the next one. Social studies, we all know the Swadeshi movement, non-cooperation, and First World War. Exactly. Whenever we are going to talk about any kind of war, so we used to integrate the concept of war, previous war, in the sense First World War and Second World War. Okay, makes historical struggles relatable to students. Okay, a young boy named Mohan refused to buy foreign clothes. Instead, he spun his own clothes and bore it proudly. Okay, like this we can integrate. So I request to everyone, by joining of my hands, please, dear teachers, please integrate the concept of storytelling. I know that you used to integrate in daily life, but try not to believe on theoretical concept only, because most of the time whenever we are in hurry or worry, we used to write down only the theoretical concept, and that's all. I want the proper, not only I, your students expect the proper understanding of that particular chapter and topic and all. Okay, so please, it's my humble request. Okay. Teachers as storytellers use voice modulation in expressions. As I earlier told that, rise and falling of the tone. It's very important. Right now, suppose that I am smiling while teaching to all of you, while providing the webinar to all of you. Sometimes you have also observed within the couple of 50 minutes. Some of the times, I go slow with my voice, and I go above with the level of my voice, with the pitch of intonation and tone, and for rising and falling of the tone and all, what is known as voice modulation. It's very important. And expressions, always you must have a smile on your face, so that students feel get comfortable, they will feel the inclusive classroom. Okay, incorporate gestures and props. Suppose that I am using the gestures right now, eye contact, I'm maintaining the eye contact, it's also falls in the category of gestures. Suppose that you are teaching the topic in north direction. Okay, and you are doing everything with in the east direction, so I think that will not be easy for us. Okay, relate history to student daily life. Okay, not to our life and others life. Try to integrate everything with the relate everything with the concept of student daily life routine. Create curiosity and suspense also while narrating any story. I can understand that you all are aware to narrate any story to integrate storytelling, but how we are narrating, it's important. Why we are narrating, it's important. Okay, so it always maintains the curiosity and suspense, always maintains, we need to maintain. Now, story students as storytellers. How they used to integrate, encourage learners to retell stories in their own words. Where storytelling sessions build confidence and creativity. Story making projects enhance collaboration. Students as active participants, not passive listeners. Yeah, exactly. Because we know that most of the times, students, they don't used to uh, engage in the teaching of the teachers. So I think when they will engage, or how they will engage, how they will engage, they will engage when they are actively participating in the activities which is teacher is conducting in the classroom. How they will engage in the activities? When once the teacher will provide the overview and context through a story, they will definitely provide the grab attention to the respective teacher and faculty. Okay, and please, it's my second request from all of you, story making projects, please provide to your students on daily basis story making projects which enhances collaboration. Okay, and NEP has also the same approach to holistic, and second one is that collaboration. It always promotes the collaboration. So please, dear teachers, it's my humble request, please provide those kind of projects which are NEP aligned and providing the phenomenon of collaboration. Okay, it also builds the confidence and creativity in the students. Okay, so now I would like to conclude that storytelling is not just the entertainment; it's a powerful pedagogy. Okay, it helps learners move from memorizing facts to deeper understanding of the concept. Deeper understanding. Suppose it's a base level and it's the meta stable level. Okay, every teacher is already a storyteller. I know that. I don't think that I'm not assuming this. Definitely, you are all the best storyteller. Okay, so the example, explanation, and classroom narrative, it will be easy. Okay, students are not just passive listeners but can be active story creators. Okay, encouraging them to create and share stories build confidence, creativity, and deeper understanding. Okay, and a story today can inspire a lifelong learner tomorrow, because our school management expect, and we also as a teacher and professor and faculty expect from the active participation by the student, they output positive results from by the side of students. So I think we can achieve with only the concept of storytelling. So dear all, please apply this phenomena and concept, and once you will apply, definitely you will get the result, positive result from the student side. And when you will get the positive result from your student side, definitely your school management will also provide you the better result for you for your career approach and teacher center approach. And thank you everyone, thank you so much everyone. Now I would like to see the comments of all of you. Okay, very good evening everyone. Okay.
Good evening, sir. Thank you. That was a great session. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you all found the session very informative. And once again, thank you, Raghvendra, sir, for a very engaging and informative session for our community of teachers. I'm sure our teachers have a lot of takeaways from this session. Let me check if there are any questions. And yeah, there is a question from a participant. Are there different genres of story recommended for high school students?
Definitely, there are some journals. We can say like this, journals are not only that, we used to publish our thesis and reports and synopsis for only, PhD scholars and all. Journals are only those, some of the journal I would like to suggest, ResearchGate. You can get it on very easily, ResearchGate. And second one is that, Springer. Yeah, it's really, but I would like to suggest you on my first priority is that ResearchGate. On that you can get each and every kind of a storytelling journals and all, because it's very important. Okay, and most of the digital tools I've already shared in my PPT, so those who have already attended and they can still watch the recording, they can get those tools whichever I have already mentioned in my presentation. Okay, so that they can relate very easily.
Thank you for that, sir. There is one more question.
Hmm.
What can teachers do if they are not very confident or expressive storytellers?
Okay, interesting questions. Interesting, very interesting question. Okay, if you are not confident while demonstrating any kind of a story and you don't have confidence to teach, so definitely, once you are entering in the classroom, prepare, daily life story, whichever is going on in your own life, whichever is going on in terms of students life. Because I can understand that we can't integrate every topic with the history topic subject. We can't integrate storytelling with the topic like Swadeshi movement. We know that. Even I, to be honest, I also didn't know about that. I also read that everything about before demonstrating this presentation. So you can relate the general life examples. I'm not saying that you need to prepare the story of a lion and that's all like this. No, you can still relate every term with the general life. Don't need to be don't feel panic at that time, because students always sometimes they used to judge to the teachers. Okay, so I will not suggest that.
Thank you for that, sir. And Yeah. So that's it from the participant side, and thank you for joining the session. And yes, thank you so much, sir. And moving forward, so let me introduce the process of uh, getting the feedback forms. Give me a minute. I'm just running the video which is available. So there is an process which is automated. So sharing this. So yes, if you have registered and filled out the feedback form for this session, check your participation record in the app and My Learning session. So I will guide you through. First, please open the Center app on your device and navigate it to the ongoing session, that is the webinar. Click on the submit feedback button which is given there, and you can see at the bottom. Then you can enter the 3-digit code which is 568. I repeat, please enter the code for the session, feedback code for the session, which is 568, and click on complete feedback form to download your record of participation. And this new process is being introduced to streamline your experience and ensure your participation is instantly recognized. Thank you all for your active participation in today's session, and we truly appreciate your engagement. To register for the upcoming webinars, please visit Center app. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.